Thank you for joining us tonight as we interview Roger McGuinn, founder of the Byrds.
Sure, I was expecting a call, so
Good. Where are you at right now?
we're in Minneapolis right now.
Oh, you are. Have you done a show there?
No, I did one in Rochester, Minnesota, the night before last.
Oh, okay. All right. And have you? Let me ask you this: have you ever been to the Northwoods of Wisconsin and Michigan?
I don't believe I have, although I can't be sure because I didn't catalog all my tour dates in my life, but I read the memory of it. But usually I get to places and people say, "Yeah, you've been here before. You just don't remember. It was back in the '60s with the Byrds or something like that." So
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Sure.
I do have a fairly good record from 1981 up to the present, and I put that on my webpage at McGuinn.com.
Yeah.
If you go to the site map,
Mm-hmm.
and click on information, and then tour dates. It'll show you like a long list of tour dates from '81 until almost the present. I haven't updated it for a month or two, but it was something I've kept up for a while.
I see you're kind of a techie.
Yes, I have been interested in technology all my life. I used to go with my grandfather, who was an engineer in Chicago, to the Museum of Science and Industry and push buttons and see things whir and light up. So I got into technology at a really early age.
Yeah. Well, let's. Why don't we start a little bit about your early beginnings. You grew up in Chicago, and tell me how you got into music.
I was a fan of music until I was 13, when they gave me a transistor radio, and that was a game changer because it meant you could listen to what you wanted to listen to instead of what the family wanted you to listen to.
Right.
And so I tuned into the rock and roll station in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
At the time was WJJD. It's, I believe, defunct now.
Yeah.
Don't exist anymore. But I heard Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel for that, and it made me want to get a guitar and play music.
Yeah. Anyone else back in those days that you can point to as driving forces?
Well, about a year after that, a folk singer named Bob Gibson came to my high school and played a set of folk songs, and I was impressed with that. So I went to the Old Town School of Folk Music and learned how to play the banjo and 12-string guitar. I started with Elvis, and I went on to folk music within about a year.
Okay. Was that a public school?
No, it was a school started by Frank Hamilton and Win Strachey, a couple of folk singers, just to teach people about the traditional music scene.
I see. What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was a Harmony F-hole guitar, and the action was so high that I couldn't play it.
Yeah. So did you get a different one?
Yeah, after about a year or so, they got me a different one. Yeah, they got me, I think I got a K. Yeah, it was back in the 50s,
Yeah.
56, 57, around there.
Who do you listen to now, Roger?
I listen to NPR, and I listen to the XM radio, and I kind of tune around. I listen to a lot of talk stuff and classical and jazz.
Okay.
I don't really listen to pop music anymore. It doesn't really interest me. Well, the teeny pop stuff I can't relate to that, and the rap stuff is culturally somewhere else. I can't relate to that either. So
Right.
it's just not my music.
And now, are you finding yourself back with folk music as your base?
Well, about 16, 17 years, back in 95. It'll be 17 years in November. I decided to put folk music up on the internet for free download.
Yeah.
Because people weren't playing the old folk songs anymore.
Right.
So I thought I'd save them by putting them up for free download, and I've been doing that every month for almost 17 years now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a labor of love. And I made a few CDs that have those traditional songs on them, and people like them. They keep buying them. So it's something that really interests me. I love folk music. I love all the stories. And they're all personal human interest stories.
Mm-hmm. And these are songs that you've known over the years and want to restore and keep them fresh.
Yeah, exactly. They're songs I learned back in the 50s and the old time school folk music, and throughout my career working with different folk musicians and knowing different people, meeting Pete Seeger and hanging out with Judy Collins and Baez, people like that.
Yeah. Do you still have contact with the original members of the Byrds, David Crosby and Chris Sullivan and those guys?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm in contact with them mostly via email, but yeah, we chat back and forth.
Yeah. Any talk about any kind of reunion?
Well, David Crosby always talks about it. He says it's too bad Roger doesn't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I'm happy doing what I do, which is travel with my wife around the world and play concerts in theaters and performing art centers.
Yeah,
it's really what I like to do better than traveling on what they call the big time band scene. With the buses and trucks and playing in stadiums or sheds or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, that doesn't seem like you.
Yeah, I've had my fill of that. I did that for years and years, and we did all right at it. But it's not something I really want to do now. That I love the old theaters. It's a trend across in the world to restore the old theaters.
Right.
Quite a few of them in the United States, and a lot of them in the UK. When I play over there, they've rebuilt the old theaters, and it's great to see them again.
When you perform on stage by yourself, getting back to the technology, tell us a little bit about what you use on stage. Your guitars, your different types of instruments, the pedals you may use, the amplifiers, those kinds of things.
Okay, well, I carry 4 instruments. I've got a Rickenbacker Electric 12 that I use a wireless transmitter with, and it goes to an amp backstage, and that's an amp that I've been carrying for a while. And it's just a small, it's like maybe 2 foot by 2 foot square amp, but it gives a sound, and then we bring that out in the house on a microphone.
Yeah. And
I play a 7-string acoustic Martin guitar that I designed for Martin. It's a signature model.
Beautiful.
Called the Roger McGuinn HD7. And I've got a 12-string that's also a signature model. It's the D1242RM by Martin.
Yeah.
And then I got a 5-string banjo, a long-neck banjo like Pete Seeger plays.
Uh-huh.
And so I go between all those 4 instruments and tell stories and sing songs.
Do you use anything like really modern, like drum machines or anything like that?
No, I feel that's kind of cheating to use like a tape backup or drum machines. I make all the music myself. You can hear my foot tapping on stage, so that kind of keeps the beat.
Yeah.
I do have an iPhone that I have one little clip on that I play over the microphone, but I won't tell you what that is. I want to save it as a surprise.
That sounds good. Have you really sat down and thought about the impact on so many people and so many lives that you've had? Did you know what you were doing at that time, or was it just something that came natural to you?
It just came naturally. We were just following the love of music that we had, and it took us to explore different areas of music. It was something that we just wanted to do, not to be influential or to go down in history or anything. We weren't thinking like that. I never thought much about the future, even beyond the next week or two.
Do you, looking back on it, do you think about that kind of thing, or is it just I'm just Roger McGuinn, I'm just doing my thing, and I love what I'm doing?
Yeah, that's more like it. I just love what I'm doing. People ask me that question. In fact, I did another interview this morning, and I was asked the same question about, did you know what you were doing when you were doing it? No, the answer is no. We just didn't think about it. We did a lot of shows, and we did a lot of them with the Burritos. So
Yeah.
even though the Burritos were an offshoot of the Byrds, and
Right.
some people left and came back, we were always friends, and we played together, so it was a good thing.
Right. When you perform, do you get nervous?
It's something that never goes away completely, although it's not the sort of ab crunching thing that it used to be when I was starting out.
Yeah.
Used to be like really uncomfortable, and now it's just a little like edge that you get. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to have when you go on stage.
Right. It means you're ready.
Yeah, it means you're ready for it. You're taking it seriously.
And you've done this thousands of times, and obviously you still love it. You're still doing it. And may I ask how old you are, Roger?
I'm 70.
Oh.
Yeah, well, feel good.
Yeah.
The road agrees with me. I really enjoy going on the road. My wife and I do it together, and we just drive around the country, and we take ocean liners to go to Europe, and we have a pretty good time traveling.
That's great. That's awesome. Do you when you do travel, you travel by car?
We have a full-size Ford van that's got a high top, and Camilla can stand up in it.
Oh yeah.
I have to sort of bend my head down, but I can. It's got plenty of room now. And the way we do it is one of us drives and the other person's in the back on the internet or whatever. So it's more like a train compartment than a car.
Uh-huh. I wish you safe travels from Minneapolis to Ironwood and beyond.
Thank you very much. Good talking to you.
All right, Roger. Take care.
You too. Bye.